Hello and welcome to the Forgeborn Finishing School. I'm Kckid and I'll be analyzing Forgeborn battles to help take your game to the next level. Alright, welcome everyone. This is going to be a little bit of a different episode on the Forgeborn Finishing School here. It's going to be very casual. One of the tenets typically of the videos I've tried to create are short, concise videos that are putting out information that I think you'll find helpful. But really targeting that short, roughly 10-minute time frame. So this is going to be a very different episode. We're going to play through a match. It's going to take a little bit more time. So I will put bookmarks down in the YouTube in the description, so you can go grab bookmarks and jump to whichever part of the video you want to watch. We're going to probably start out talking about some of the decks here that we're playing, and then there's going to be some bantering. Then we're going to go into the match, and probably we'll have some talk at the end as well. But that being said, I do want to introduce the player I'm playing with. This is Koar, who recently just played in a tournament. Koar, say hello to everyone.
Hey everybody.
So we both just attended the Ultimate Championships at TCGCon Indianapolis. Another interesting thing about Koar, this is my brother. So we had the fortune of playing this game together, going down and doing this tournament together, and we ended up in the finals for the Day 1 Constructed event and played against each other. I know Justice Blinded got that on recording, and so he's going to be, sharing that with the community on his YouTube channel. I'll definitely put a link to that, his channel, in the description as well, so you guys can check it out. A little spoiler or teaser for that, I guess I would say, is that it was a really entertaining match. I think it was turn 1, cycle 4, that I had nudged my health up to 103 total. And in 3 turns, Koar was able to do 140 plus damage and seal the match out. So you're definitely going to want to go watch that. A lot of fun. And those are the decks we're going to be playing today. Another part of the Ultimate Championships was the Day 2 Sealed event, which was very fun for the community. And Koar and myself, we also did pretty well there, which was really fun. I helped to get a video maybe to go over the decks there as well and talk about how you can really kind of set yourself up and tech your deck in a sealed environment, even though that's a very limited environment. So that will be a future video. All right, so let's get in and just talk about these decks, Koar. And, we did a lot of play testing together, I would say. And so we ended up with very similar purple decks, which is pretty interesting. If you want to talk, kind of what are some of the things in your purple deck that makes your deck hum, and I'll talk a little bit of my half of the purple, and then we'll go into where our decks really differentiate on the other half.
Yeah, so I think with the purple deck, and I tried out I think 2 to 3 other purple decks besides this one, and this one I probably used the less during that testing, but I think that was because I already felt it was already the strongest, and the other ones I was trying to gauge out more, and so ended up going with this one. And really the key to this one is that, again, as he mentioned, I'm using the Dark Forge drain on Oris, so that's a little different in that I'm not running the Cersei and I'm running Oris. And the idea basically is just to get out as many spells as possible. And then with the Mantis and Forge Seal in there, I am guaranteed at any cycle to get Dark Forge Drain off, so I can hold on to that Mantis and Forge Seal for the most opportune time when they come up. And so the purple really helps with that because it's got, Exras Will, which can be a free spell if keyed done properly. Vyric's Embrace can just remove a body off and then give me a buffer in health. And then we're looking at Soul Reap's kind of the again, doing damage to a creature, gaining health, and then there's a lot of beasts in this deck as well. I think there's 4 beasts in the purple side alone, so it's really easy to trigger the double impact with Soul Reap. And then Dyson Siphon again allows me to chain more spells by just removing a creature to play another spell. And so the idea is just to try to upgrade as many cards, get as many spells into the deck, and then Cersei's Call as well as can be a power card, and it can be played free on once you get to level 3. And then on the creature side again, we're looking at the beasts that go off of Soul Reap, but kind of the big one in there is the Dreadmont has stealth in there, and so one of the combos in that is just getting a stealth creature out there and ramping it up to high damage and just punching through damage, while they're off forge and they can't, if they don't have an aggressive creature, you can just give it a nice big boost of hit points and damage. Scourge Hydra's, again, another beast, helps with the conditional removal. And then just the Demon and Broodfang. Broodfang, again, can help as well. So the main thing is really just the spells and being able to chain through them as fast as possible, get as many played, and as well as it just helps with hit points. A lot of those give health back.
Yeah, and the purple half that I was using had Dizzy and Siphon, Soul Reap, Vyrix Embrace, Raswill, that kind of core life gain set of cards there in purple. And that's what was very similar about our decks. And then obviously you had Cersei's Call, which is just a phenomenal pairing with Dark Forge Drain. My half had the Shambling Harvester, which is a card that definitely comes in handy sometimes to add to the life gain. And then there's a couple of other, cards. A lot of them, I would definitely not call them dead cards, but that were less desirable for me to play. Didn't quite fit in as well 100% as yours. But Spite Maiden definitely has value in my deck, to help me play some of those spells. If I'm paying 5 health to play a free spell that gets me life back, that's definitely, never a bad thing. And then the Raging Skeleton, I would say, was like the sneaky, MVP in the deck. Not to say it was always useful, but there was times where I would, use that Ghoulish Slime to upgrade the Raging Skeleton to level 2, use its aggressive status to, punch in maybe 8 damage, and then they don't realize how big the skeleton gets in cycle 3, and that's just a real big body to help me push damage through. And then, you mentioned your Dark Forge Drain, which really was a core tenet of your green half, and how much, it really differentiated from the philosophy of my deck. I think a lot of players have tried to weaponize Dark Forge Drain and have done so to varying degrees of success, but really the key fun part about yours we found in playtesting and then in the tournament is your ability to underdrop the Mantis and the Forge Seal. The longer you delay, the more powerful Dark Forge Drain becomes, and that's inherent in the design space of it, in that at cycles 3 and 4 the attack and health buff doesn't get any better. So it's because the more spells you play, it gets better, and you're able to just ensure that happens every time by underdropping that Mantis and Force Shield, which is pretty entertaining when you see it come out. So I'm sure we'll see it in this game. But definitely I'm going to try to bait you to play it early. That will be my goal here. We'll see how that works out.
Yeah, and on the speaking more on the green side, yeah, kind of the keys is as you mentioned, underdropping the Mantis and Forge Shield opportune times. The with the health gain that purple gives, a lot of times that's the Swamp Moss Lurker is just a free body to put out there, and refreshing Batterhide. Even if I don't replace it like that, a lot of times is key of letting the stealth punch through one additional time when I'm off Forge. Dropping that as my last drop, and then Primal Surge, again, another spell that can be played for free. And another interesting piece in there, it does have lead the charge as well. So if you happen to have Forge Seal on a creature and you activate it, you could then play lead the charge to reset it and then do it again. I don't know if that came up in the tournament, I can't remember, but that's just another piece that you can use.
Yeah, that would be very nasty. I mean, in the finals, you got Dark Forge Drain off on 3 creatures that stayed on the board. I think at one point, man, being able to do it a 4th time would just be, yeah, that'd be brutal. One thing I think that's really funny about our decks, here is that, there's not a lot of bad cards, and like I said, I wouldn't say there's dead cards, but the interesting piece is the purple seems to be the more prevalent of your half. As far as cards played potentially, whereas mine is the green side. And that's not to say in the preponderance of the game state that changes, but just looking at the deck list and seeing it play, that's just kind of how it lines up a little bit. Um, Here, just looking a quick look through my green half. So my deck is definitely more of that, uh, much more into the life gain archetype, I think, than Koar's deck here. The Glowhive Siren, Kindred War Tusk. We both have the Primal Surge. Soothing Ravager is a very fun card. We'll see if it comes out here, but it's kind of a self-contained solved puzzle. It gives you life and then bust the creature itself. Swamp Moss Lurker is another card we share, and then a couple extra cards that not always do I want to play them, but the Shardplate Delver, Torgmite Guardian are other big bodies, and then the Uterra Charger's great removal. So the interesting thing about this green deck is really almost every creature is above stat curve base at cycle 1. So that's one thing that really helped me kind of float above people, is forcing them to play 2 cards generally to remove one of my creatures. Allowed me to get board state pretty strongly.
Yeah, I think that's.
Go
I was
ahead.
gonna say, I think that's probably like one of the issue. Like when that, I think Justice will drop that video. But one of the things is you got ahead really early, and it was hard for me to hold the board state because your creatures were just inherently bigger.
Yeah, and that's for this being a life gain deck, which is kind of funny. Playing against you in the finals, that was the only game for the whole tournament that went to time for me, and I actually think it was the only game that went into cycle 4. So my deck was able to push damage and close out most games, all of them except for the one against you before cycle 4, which a lot of people think life gain decks can't do. So I think it's just the correct teching, or the correct decks to do it. One thing I did really want to get back to, I guess I kind of missed in the beginning. You've been playing for about 2 months now. I think I tried to get you into the game a little earlier. I thought this was something you would enjoy. And maybe I didn't push hard enough. And then when I started the Forgeborn Finishing School, I reached out to you for guidance and advice on content creation, because you were a content creator for other games. Your best piece of advice was just do it, just push out a video, don't hold back. And I did that, and then you watched my video. And then you got into Solforge and tried it out, and then you are the first ultimate champion for Solforge Fusion. How does that feel?
uh, a little unreal, I guess. I hadn't expected that, but it's certainly nice. I think the important or the fun part for me was just going out there and meeting the people that, playing online, actually, going there and enjoying the tournament with you. As we do live quite a bit apart. So that was fun. And then, being the champion, that's just kind of a little cherry on top. So like I said, it was a fun weekend.
Cool. Yeah. I can't wait to see, and because of our relation, probably mock you for the card that eventually is created with your likeness. That will definitely be entertaining. I'm glad you mentioned the community. It's phenomenal meeting everyone out there. And then, another bit is you just drove back to Kansas today from Indiana. I just drove back from Indiana to Minnesota here today. And then this just happened to be the only time we could get on and play. So I really appreciate you getting on. But yeah, we're both a little tired. We'll go through this. The other thing I do want to put out there, though, is you definitely have competitive card playing in your background, TCGs and other games, miniatures games. So you've been doing, to some degree or another for most games, competitive play at a pretty high level, I would say, for multiple games. L5R, Warhammer, what else was there?
Yeah, so I've played Magic, not at the super high level, but I do really enjoy just going in there and playing like fields and drafts. And I did play some tournaments a long time ago. But L5R was probably my biggest streak of competitive play. Back then we would go to Kotais. And it's really interesting with L5R, kind of there were story elements, when you win or you did well for your clan. You got to impact the storyline, and again, similar, have like cards that you got to like help select or to find characters that progress. That's what I find kind of interesting about this, with the card selection and some of the lore they've put out. yeah, Warhammer, Fantasy and 40K, War Machine, Hordes. I played a lot of Force of Will tournaments. So a lot of different games. I like trying them all and playing them. I always try to play competitively, play my best. So a lot of mechanics and pieces. And this one, for one, you were playing it, right? So that was the big one. Watching your videos, saw the mechanics, thought it was really interesting. The choices you have to make. Do you play this now because it gives you a better board state? Do you not play it and you try playing a card that will give you a better board state later? Anticipating what your opponent has. And I think as we've discussed and again among the community, like the bones of the game, as it's called, is really solid and really good. And so I think that kind of, you know, creates a structure that I think if they nurture the game well can really grow. I think what they have built is good, solid foundation. They just work on the edges and we're good to go.
Yeah, yeah, I hear you, and I think a lot of the community members agree that excited for the future of this game. We'll see how it goes. I think I'm ready to jump into this, and we're right just past the 15-minute mark here, so we'll get this started. And let's just try to talk through some of our plays and share some of the things we're thinking. Both of us are pretty much open books when people ask us questions. I've been told I shared my opinion too many times. I share information too many times. But that's what we're here to do today: is share our perspective on our decks, share the cards, share the secrets, and see if we can help the community, develop the meta further. Right.
Yep.
All right. So without further ado, start shuffle, and here we go. Looks like you got the Forge first here.
All right. Let's see. I'll start playing the Scourge Hydra.
I have seen that play before here.
I mean, you gotta. He's got the he's what I call hard removal. It's conditional hard removal, right? It's not like I'm giving a minus on something or a plus, but it is conditional. And so if I don't level him up, I may not be able to use him to his full potential later.
Right, right, and I can just smell the Dissian Siphon coming out of your hand here in just a second. But I'm gonna go ahead and play the Raging Skeleton and just pass it over to you.
All right. Well, I have a 25% chance, right?
Yeah,
To have that card. All right. So I'm sorry to disappoint.
yeah, that's another
Uh,
good one. It's a beast.
we'll
So
do the Soul Reap, which will kill that, and that'll give me 3 hit points. So I'm a little slow here, and then I'll gain another 3 by doing 3D because I have the beast. So again, getting a spell played, leveling up the Hydra, putting a body on the board.
yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah, very nice. And it gets you above 56 to trigger that Swamp Moss Lurker here next turn, hopefully. So we'll go into this, and this is where my deck tries to do its thing, potentially, and keep a creature on the board and get a value out of it. And the other thing I will say, my first play I could have done, I had Sigmund Fraud here in hand. Thought about playing it, but I talked about how the sneaky of the Raging Skeleton sometimes can be just a really good drop. So that's why I played that one.
Can you see where I've dropped these cards over here?
I can. Yep.
All right. So these were the other cards I had on my hand for the stream. And Ixixian Dreadmaw is a key component of the deck, but it's not necessarily critical that he leveled up. It does make him more useful. It is better, and there are cases where that could save me, and it has saved me. But it's really just the stealth and the beast function of it, whereas the Hydra can get level locked down on his ability. So
Nice. Yep.
so I'll put these back here.
All right, and we'll go to the next round. And
Yep.
Okay, so I'll start with that Kindred War Tusk there. When I gain life, he's just going to get a little bit bigger.
Okay. Yeah, and he's going to be, he is going to be a problem. So at this point, I think I will drop the free lurker. And then I will play a Broodfang. as my play. And I think we'll put him here.
Yeah, makes sense. I'd have to gain 2 instances of life to clear the lurker. And it's going to trade out that either way. So,
Yep.
okay, over to me.
Yep.
I am going to go ahead and play the Soothing Ravager. So he reads that I get 2 deploys. One is gain 2 life, and the other is if I've gained life this turn, give this additional attack and health. So I am going to choose to enact upon the gain the 2 health first. So 1-2
Mm-hmm.
to attack here, and then a 2 buff to the Kindred, and then the second Soothing Ravager's deployability triggers to pump him to a 4/6, and then I'll pass it back to you.
All right. So this is very. I feel like this is reminiscent of our game.
Sorry,
Yep.
I forgot a card.
Oh yeah.
There's that
Yep.
tiredness kicking in. Might as well level that up. There we go.
Yeah, so this feels similar, reminiscent of the game. I don't remember it too much. I'm pretty tired, but you're getting a good board state early, and it's going to be, and for me, it's just going to be trying to slow you down.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
yeah, and this Zerath's Will could play into your Xerxes to help you stall. If that's a card in your hand here, I know.
So at this point, I need to level up this card, so I'm going to play it and kill the Swamp Moss. I'm just going to be taking damage this turn. Is the problem. So I'll deal 3 to you, and I'll gain 3. Okay, and then I'll get to play. And I will then activate this.
You'll have to finish the spell first.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you're right. Sorry.
That's all right. You just drove 12 hours or something today.
Yeah.
I feel you.
I'll actually do a sack a creature. Yeah, we'll sack it. Why not? I'll play this. Ready it. It's already ready, but it gives 6.
Oh yeah.
There's another spell in my pile. Again, that's the key piece here, and I'm gonna actually kill off the Glove Hive.
Mm-hmm. Keep the Broodfang alive. Okay.
He would have stayed alive anyways. It just would have been lower health,
lower damage, which would have put him in. He'd have been at 5, so not in Fearix range, but yeah.
Okay.
Uterran Charger range for sure.
Yeah.
So you'll take 12.
12. Okay.
All right. I did have a Shambler and a Soul Reap in there. So I guess a lot of people watching this might ask, because those would have been some good plays, especially with the Beast in play. But the Kindred obviously is a very good engine that gets better for me later. And I'll say Soothing Ravager is a card that jumps exponentially in base stats at 2 and 3. So hopefully that'll play out here in the next rounds. But go ahead.
Yeah. And mine was Forge Seal, and it wasn't worth me using that. I need to save that for when I actually have a chance to punch something through, obviously. So my first play here, I'm actually going to look into, I want to see what's in my, okay. So my first play is actually going to drop a Lyra, and we're just going to block a big body. And now we're going to put another body on the board here. So let's see what we get.
All right, that's a good one.
And let me decide where I want to place it here.
So that definitely disincentivizes me to play spells this round or while it's on the board, so it will get bigger.
Yeah, we'll drop him there. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna go for it anyways. This disincentivizes me from playing spells, but I'm going to fire them off at will here. So I'm going to deal 3 damage to you. I'm going to gain 3. And then I'm going to, pump this guy a little bit.
I'll bump my keeper up to 4 attack.
And then I sacrifice my creature to play another card. That card will be Vyric's Embrace. So I'm going to deal 4 damage to the keeper.
Okay.
And then I'm going to pump 4 health here. And this guy will get just a little bit bigger.
Okay. And I put 2 more on there. All right. Yep. My go now, finally?
Yep, yeah. Pass over.
All right.
You'll have some hands here, or you maybe already had them, or you're going to deplete some cards, so, yep.
Yeah, well, I did last turn. I only had the 1 card left, so... Vyric's Embrace, and I'm going to do that to your Kindred War Tusk, and then I'll gain 4 health. All right, and then I will play a free spell, Primal Surge.
Yeah.
And we're going to give that to this big body here, because it'll keep, may keep him alive. I guess you'll get a play.
Mm-hmm.
But getting the spell played. Go ahead.
So, part of me is, I know I really need to take care of this Broodfang.
Oh, so I got one more thing. Can I do that for you?
Yep,
yeah,
go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah, we got this activation here. He's a beast, so we'll do that. Sorry, long day. Go ahead.
Nope, seems good. Yeah, that stays on the board. You're just going to give him more beast. So... Yeah, I gotta clear this thing. Normally I would just leave it, but we're gonna go with that.
Okay.
So then I'll go down to 1 here. Yeah, you
smoke that guy.
1, 2. And I'm gonna take that guy. 3 from the Broodfang. He's gonna hang around.
All right. And turn. For my hand. Oops, what happened?
Oh, it's end of cycle, yeah. Dump it back in there and shuffle away. It's fine.
Yeah.
I know you were talking about tournament. There's times where you maybe could have or should have played Broodfang a little more, and you leaned one way, and then later you said, I probably should have played the Broodfang a little more. So it's interesting to see that now you have a Broodfang that's just going to hang around on the board. That's very. We'll see how that plays out for us.
Yeah, it's more the combination between Broodfang and Dreadmaw.
Right.
if you have Dreadmaw, Broodfang, another guy out, and that guy is going to say trade with the dude in front of it, or Broodfang has enough to kill it with its ability, then I'm better off using the Dreadmaw to kill the creature and then triggering Broodfang to kill the creature that they were going to trade on, because now my Dreadmaw gets bigger.
Right.
And I just need to draw 5 more. I had reshuffled.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and lead off here with the Kindred War Tusk. Park it there and then pass to you.
Okay. I think I'm gonna lead off with. I'm going to lead off with Soul Reap into the Delver.
Yeah.
And then you'll lose 5 and I'll gain 10.
Yeah, that was a great play. So I was probably going to Dissient Siphon, sacrifice that. Because I knew it was at 1 health. I knew you had a lot of spells that could kill it. Just kind of was getting hopeful that you wouldn't clear it off the board. But over to me.
Yep, go ahead. Yeah, I was really hoping to have that... keeper that was there alive, but that's not gonna happen.
All right, so I'm gonna do the Glow Hive here, which gives it 5, and then it's gonna pump each of the Kindred, and then back to you.
I'm gonna just drop a brood thing there.
Okay, I hope you don't get some self-destruction synergy next turn. All right.
I'll drop down to
5,
3 here.
1,
Yep,
2,
and
3.
then you did 9 damage. I go to 4,
Yep.
and then you're doing 11 to me. So
Yeah, shut off that swamp moss lurker if you draw it next turn.
it's 40 next turn
Oh, it is. You played it on the
because I
war.
did play it.
I
Yeah,
didn't have that opportunity. Well done.
yeah. So Lyra did me no good this round. Lead the charge not useful, and Forge Steel was not a good opportunity to. So
Yep.
um,
Yep.
I think this, we'll probably get into another cycle. So I'm not too worried.
Oh yeah. That's one thing about your deck that's really cool is you can throw such big haymakers, and then come later and you have the ability to survive into those later rounds, which a lot of decks can't necessarily do that.
Let's see here. I think we're gonna drop a
Yeah.
free swamp moss here. And I think it's unfortunate. We'll wait one more. That's rough. I gotta level this card up.
Oh yeah, that is tough, but you do have to level it up.
So
You didn't
yeah,
draw it in cycle 1 then, huh?
I did not draw it. So if we can get to cycle 4, it could be like
Yep.
the
Yep.
Saturday key to winning.
We'll definitely see. All right, over to me.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, so here's that Soothing Ravager that really is, if there's a focal part to my deck, it's these two cards. I know, and Glow Hive's important, but this is where the magic is. So Soothing Ravager, +3 attack. So that's going to give 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 there, 1, 2, 3 there, and then this guy gets +2/+2, and then the Ravager itself is going to proc the +4. So he's a 10/14 at level 2, just kind of built in. So that's why I had a 4/6 is not a bad stat line at level 1 either, but he almost has to be played. So I'm going to do that and then pass back to you.
Yeah, this is looking bad again. So let's see. I need to deal with some creatures, and unfortunately, I didn't get anything that allows me to just kill my own creature off. Because I probably would have to try to drop some things. These are gonna trade here. The Broodfang and Siren. He's a problem. He's a problem. I can't trade with any of these other ones. But I might be able to survive a little longer. No, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. This one will, though. So I will just have to hard Primal Surge the Swamp Moss.
Okay.
And he'll have 5 shields. Wherever they went.
Oh,
He's got 5 shields on him.
yeah, we got this. Okay, over to me then.
Yep.
Okay, so as you mentioned, this guy's gonna die. So I'm gonna replace him with the free
With your
lurker.
Yep.
And then, so I have a level 2's Wrath Will in hand, and now I can play a free brute. So this is kind of a dilemma: is where do I need that free brute right now? And really, what I'm asking myself is, do I need 2 free brutes in cycle 3 or 4? I have to weigh it out. Do I want potentially 1 free brute in cycle 3 and potentially 2 in cycle 4 by not playing this, or do I play it here, not use the brute because I'm going to replace it with a better creature, and then potentially hope I don't need it in cycle 3 or 4 twice. You know what I mean? So I think I'm gonna play it and then hope it's not needed in cycle 3 if it's needed in cycle 4, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's the right call. You're keeping the pressure. That's
Well,
just another thing I have to deal. Oh, you're playing it now. I see.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I'm gonna replace it. So really, I was just leveling it up. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna do the Shambling Harvester here, just to get that on the board, get it leveled up. Um,
Okay.
it's the smallest body really that I generally play here, but yeah. So okay, 1, 2,
Yep.
3.
Let's see. I'm gonna take
You'll
5.
go
I'll go
to
down to
3.
3.
1, 2, 3 there. And then we'll go into the next turn here. So now I got a full board, which is sometimes an interesting round for me. This is made a little bit easier. So I'm going to Vyrix Embrace your guy.
Oof.
Gain 6. And then I'm going to pump these guys a little bit. And then over to you.
Yeah, at this point, I just need to continue to try to stay alive. I will have to keep your Stitcher alive because I will just cast Vyrix Embrace on the 10-3. And then I'll gain 6. Go ahead.
Yep. So, and a lot, I guess people might ask. So I Vyrix Embrace first to clear that and pump my guys. And some people would ask, why didn't I play the Shard Plate Delver here? Maybe I should have went into that. But your deck has a high preponderance of spells and removal, and I definitely knew that was an option. That if I put this here, you would kill that, and maybe have a less desirable thing here. Or if you Dizzy and Siphon your own guy into a spell, that I could end up without a Vyrix Embrace option, which was a card I wanted to get off to buff my creatures. So I am just gonna throw down that Raging Skeleton. Oh, we did forget our Shambling trigger.
Yep.
So
Yeah, so I go down to
pop
52.
that, and
Okay.
then so there we go. That's the board state. Back to you.
Okay. Let me see where I'm going to place him, but let me look into my deck here. I have to use my ability here. I have not had a good opportunity all game, but I got 1,
Right.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 spells in there. Double check that one.
I'll just start pumping off that number, and we'll go from
7,
there.
8, 9, 9. Oh.
All right, so there's that Dark Forge Drain. Oh boy, I am tired. I didn't even try to activate my army commander. That's fine. It's a terrible ability here.
Yeah, 9 of them. So 18, 18. So I'm going to take too much damage here. So
one thing while you're talking about that, I'm going to talk about my army commander that
yep.
normally I would activate if I hadn't driven 9 hours
I
and
mean, you want
unpacked.
to go ahead.
Yeah, it's fine. But so basically, one of the only few times that it actually gets benefit in this deck is if you know the Primal Surge level 1. I haven't even seen it all game, but if it had somehow gotten through as a level 1 into my discard, that's when I would army commander it back as a free card and play it. That's one of the only times I get value out of it. But other than that, it just upgrades a card, generally speaking. So Zithian Dreadmaw, what lane are we going to go with here?
I think I'm going to be really risky and go this lane. I'm on the Forge neck, so I have a chance of boosting its health back up. And I think in order for me to have a chance, that's what needs to happen.
Yeah, so you draw the Mantis of the Forge Seal before I get to activate and kill it.
Correct.
Yeah, that would be scary. You'll push a lot of damage in.
So we'll go there. I am still going to take way too much damage. So 12, 17. Well, it's really 18, 12, 18.
This is 29, 30.
30, yeah.
Right, 20, yep. Okay. And
Yeah, I think
then
I'm. Yeah.
oh, I think you're right. You got a good play line potentially. So this dies. One shamble triggers.
Yep.
Which will help that guy a little bit. And then we are going to go into a new cycle. And you're right. So I have my life drain. Essentially, you have to get the Mantis or the Forge
Yep.
Seal. Um, well, no, you'll have your
I could. I
Forgeborn.
have
Yep,
that.
yep.
Yep. Okay. So the first thing I will do is, which I have to, I think.
Yep, there you go.
Drop that, and that's going to be another. What we said 8. No, that'll be 20 because the spell is in there, and I can get it to. I can get it to 22.
Well, you don't count the spell you're playing at the moment.
Well, it's putting on the creature enough
Oh,
to
yeah, yeah, and
spin
then
it
you
to
activate
activate
it.
it.
Good
Yeah.
call.
So
Good
this
call.
is in
One,
there.
two,
It's on him.
three, four, five.
So I could also play something else here. I'm just trying to see. Um, I think we do it. I'll activate this. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I gain 4 health. 1, 2, 3, 4. That allows me to drop Exrath Will. That goes there. I get this to chump block. And then I'll activate this. Should be 22 now. Should have 11 in here.
Yeah.
Okay, so 44.
Yep. And there it is. Okay.
Go ahead. I can't. Yeah, you don't have. Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Back to you for now.
Okay. All right. So now I got two
So
plays I can play.
yeah. So I'm just mentally preparing what 44 damage is gonna look like and what I have to gain to prepare myself for that.
I think I drop. Drop him.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. So what I need to do is 25 damage this turn. Otherwise, you've basically put me on a 2-turn count that I either have to somehow remove this off the board in that time frame, essentially. And by not putting this here, I think you've left me that potential opening.
Yeah, you're right. Yep. Yeah, you should be able to then.
So do you want to move that, or are you
If
good?
you want to let me.
Yeah, of course, of course.
Yeah, he does have to
This
go
goes
there.
back to we're very tired.
Yeah, I didn't even do the
So
math. And then you have your ability to just do the 4 damage to the guy.
yep. I would have gained,
Yeah.
I think, 3 separate instances of health. Pop
Yeah.
this up. Yeah, and between this guy and that guy, I had enough. So that changes
Yeah.
things. But I think I can still clear this. That's the problem.
Yep.
Either
Yeah, I
way.
did clear it. I couldn't get it going off, and you got me too low.
Yep. I, yeah. So I'm gonna deal 4 damage to your health. I'm gonna gain 4, which
Yep.
pumps him a little bit. And then I sacrifice the Shambler here,
Okay.
which is essentially going to deal 3 damage to you.
Yep.
But that's going to sit back on the batch. Let's not do that right yet. Sorry.
Okay.
So he's going to sit back on the batch while that goes in. And then... Oh, no, I can't do all that. So I'm going to undo that because,
Okay.
again, tired. Yeah, not reading cards correctly. So, sorry, gain that 4 health back. You're back at 25. I'm at
Okay.
65. This is great stuff for the viewers.
Okay.
So, the choices we've made here. So I have to do this one. I got to reset that too, just real quick. So, 8 damage to your Swamp Moss Lurker. I gain 8 health. That gives me 2 here. Then I, of course, I flip this to kill that. That gives me the 2 there.
Yep. And that's okay.
That's essentially what I needed. Yeah.
Yep.
So this will push in the damage. You're still going to do the 44 to me, which is going to bring me down to 29. And there it is. So that was, yeah. I think I got some bigger bodies on the board. Was just able to handle it, and like I said from the beginning, I joked I had to not bait or force you into Dark Force draining early, and if I could do that, that means I had stood a chance. When you did 140 damage to me in 3 turns at the tournament, I knew that there was no chance I could let this go to cycle 4. Your deck just fires on all cylinders when I had lost momentum. So
Yeah, those multiple big bodies. I was just trying to slow it down, and that the turn I got down just too low. In the tournament, I think I got down to maybe like the 30s, and then was able to bounce back. I
yep,
had the option of dropping Vyric's Embrace. Probably would have been maybe been the better call. Clear out the skeleton, get 8 health back, would be at 32,
yep, yeah,
and then I think I survived one more turn.
and then we see what the next round brings.
Yeah,
Yeah, that would be an interesting setup for sure.
because I wasn't able to level up the Batter Hide.
That would have been big Soul Reap
Yeah,
potentially.
which could have maybe bought another turn.
What you really needed was
And
the Mantis, I suppose, though.
no, what I needed, I
Well,
think, was I needed to level up Batter Hide. So then next turn, I could have played the
oh,
Batter Hide if I got him and shoved your Harvester back to the end again.
yep, and push the damage through. Good call. Yeah,
Yep,
absolutely.
yep. That was a good game, even though we're tired and making mistakes.
Yeah. It just comes down on we have another trip this weekend, and so we just kind of had to squeeze in when we could. Of course, I really appreciate you coming on. I really am excited for people to check out that match we played at the tournament, and that was just an electric match. I think the first 3 cycles, people may go, oh, I'm not sure. It doesn't seem like it's that great of a match, and there's no way Koar comes back from this. I'm certain that will be played in people's minds, and I don't know if Justice's audio will show through or not, but it was when I hit 103 life, there was, someone off camera had said something like, "Oh, that's a lot of life," and I was like, "And we're about to watch it plummet," because I just knew your deck hadn't used your Oroses except for the one out of 3, and it was just pretty amazing to watch, even if I was on the receiving end for sure. So I'm gonna hit a timestamp here, for sure, and this is the end of the match, but go into just a couple of things I wanted to talk about that is not related to our decks. Um, we might talk sealed just a little bit, but I do want to talk about the event as a whole and kind of how that happened, just to really potentially incentivize some people. If you ever thought about going to some of these events and traveling, what it could be like, right? And so Koar, you traveled from Kansas, I traveled from Minnesota, and the core nucleus group of people we hung out with was maybe 10, 12 people.
Yeah, I think that was the highlight. I got there a little earlier than you on Friday, and we went out and got there was a few of us went and got lunch, and just I hadn't met him before, sat down, chatted with Neil and Mark, and kind of get to know him and just talk about the game and just things in general. So that was awesome. And then I think you got in, and a few other guys got in, and we were able to go get dinner together, and we met up with another group, um, with Justice, and got food there again, talked, chatted, and then hung out. Went back to the house, and just played games, play tested, talk strategy, see what we're gonna do. So it's a lot of
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, that was one thing I loved is, basically I landed in and immediately getting texts, getting messages, getting calls from people. Hey, we're going out to dinner. This is where we're going. This is where we're meeting up. People that lived around the area, all the other people that traveled, we all went out and grabbed dinner. Like you said, went back, and even that night we were playtesting. It was a funny bit. I think I went down there confident in what I was playing. I was settled. I had no question in my mind. So much so that I put my deck to the side and said I don't want to look at it for about 48 hours because I'd tested enough, played enough games with it. But even you, to some degree, you mentioned you had pretty much settled on the purple, but there was this nugget in the back of your head, I think, and we even play tested a game with your deck, right? And you absolutely crushed, I think, my Minion Swarm deck, which was pretty fun. But Neil, Mark, Eric, everybody, Freddie Cav. There's so many people. I can't name everybody, but just sitting around playing games was just absolutely a phenomenal blast. And then hey, we stayed up well past midnight, and I went to bed fairly early there for the whole crew. But everyone woke up. We went to the exposition hall or exhibition hall at the Indiana State Fairgrounds, and met up with a whole bunch of people, that we hadn't even seen that night before because either they couldn't come out or they hadn't got there yet. Um, and it was just like instantly meeting people that you had known for some time and you had never seen their face, right? Because we talked to everyone on Discord, which was really cool just to kind of sit across from a table, and talk to someone you'd talked to many times before, but this time in person. So just, I don't want to belabor it too much, but just a really great time, really fun time to meet people. And so hopefully, I don't know if that gives anyone who had thought about it before and decided against it, the impetus to get out and maybe travel to one of these things. If you do so, I highly recommend reaching out through, some of the social communities that exist around this game. The Charge Plated podcast. The fifth cycle is a big one. You can meet a lot of people in the Stoneblade Discord itself. Reach out, in those groups. Hey, I'm going to the Ultimate Championships in Denver. Who's all going? And start kind of forming those bonds ahead of time.
Yeah, I think that's some really just like great advice, and getting out there, and getting out with people in the Discord, see who's going, and trying to collaborate, and meet up, before or after the event. Um, it's a lot of fun. And even if you're not necessarily even just playing Solforge, I mean, after Sunday night, we just hung out and played some just regular board games. So
Yeah, you busted out pitch cars. And you told me that you play that with the family, and that's definitely something I'm gonna have to look into. It's one thing that anytime we get together, you're always pulling out some new board game I haven't played. But that was a great experience to play. What was the other game? Crokinole?
Crokinole or something.
A Canadian dexterity game where you flick tokens. Anyways, yeah, all these different games we hadn't played that you just getting together after playing a bunch of Solforge, and then playing different games, hanging out and having conversations. Just a great time. But I think that's about it. We'll wrap it up there. This has been a very different episode of for the Forgeborn Finishing School. Normally, I like to just put out information, and hopefully, it's helpful to people. Obviously, these are our decks. We have a lot of opinions about them, about the way we play them. So, hopefully, it was helpful. And if this is something that you've enjoyed, please feel free to subscribe, leave a comment. Especially a comment, or even shoot me an email or hit me up on Discord, Kckid on the Discord. Any of those comments. If this is something you like, this is something we could do a little bit more of potentially. Interspersed with some of our other video types. And Core, I'm certain you wouldn't mind if people reach out to you on Discord for games or advice or anything of that nature.
Yeah, just yeah, core on there. I'm in the main one in fifth cycle. Yeah, feel free to reach out if you have any questions or thoughts or on like how the deck did or or how it worked. You can kind of see how it played out in this and well, I wasn't able to pull the victory. Kind of see what it was trying to do, and I'm happy to answer any questions or help out. So
Yeah, absolutely. And I just appreciate you letting me get a win in here, though, to redeem my
uh,
103 lost life that I will get a bunch of grief over. So this it's been good.
I mean, I think these two decks going at each other. I think you're 2-1 now.
Yeah, fair, but that was the first time you'd ever played the pair. So, no, this is a great matchup, and I think we both know how it plays out. That you're trying to get those haymakers landed, and I'm trying to get you within lethal range before those haymakers are really available. And so it's just kind of a fun race typically. But there it was. So yeah, I think we'll end it there. And I really do appreciate you coming on, Core, taking the time. Again, it's super late, but really much appreciated. And I look forward to hopefully some people reaching out about these decks or about Denver, about future events, all of those things. So thanks again.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Thanks for attending this lesson with Forgeborn Finishing School. If you liked this video, please subscribe, comment, and consider donating to our Patreon account. I'm Kckid, and I look forward to our next lesson.